Welcome to the world of mosaic crochet. This is going to be just getting you started on this stinky little design. You can find the whole pattern at my Etsy store, KeepCalmandCrochets, and it tessellates really nicely with a bunch of other squares that I've made with some skulls and funky stuff on them. So check those out if this is going to work for you. We are going to start with a hook. I have a 3.5 mil because that's what goes nicely with this yarn, which is a skinny 8-ply. Bit of trial and error, I guess. If you want to size up your hook, you will get a larger finished product than this. This is about 22 centimeters wide and 22 high, nice square. And it's 42 rows high by, no, 44 rows high, sorry, by 42 stitches wide. So I'm going to start by tying my knot, tightening on, and then I'm going to chain 44. So here we go. Count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44. And then I'm going to skip my last 2 chain stitches. I treat this like a turning stitch, and I work back into the 3rd chain from my hook. So skip this guy, next one across. And I just single crochet all the way back along my chain, which is possibly the most boring part of the entire project. Woohoo! Now, in my pattern, you don't have to read a graph. There is a graph included of the pattern. If you would like to work off that, that's up to you. But I also give stitch counts for every row, and they're in a spreadsheet, so you can just read your spreadsheet from left to right and rattle off your stitches, and you'll be fine as long as you stick to the numbers. The other good thing to know about colour work is that you change colour on the last stitch. So let's just pretend, I'll have a little chat while we're doing this. Let's just pretend that my pattern says, 21 of colour A and then 1 of colour B. So I work my 20 of colour A, and when I get to the 21st stitch, whoops-a-daisy, that's a nasty split, let's just go back. When I get to the 21st stitch, instead of finishing it, I actually draw up my 3rd loop in my new colour. So if this is a colour change stitch, I would start the stitch in my orange, my colour A, and I would yarn over like normal. But then instead of putting my 3rd loop over in my old colour, I would 3rd loop over in my new colour that I'm about to introduce. And then that's the loop that gets drawn up through the stitch. That's the loop that pops out on top. And that's the colour that you start your next stitch in. So just keep that kind of rattling around in your brain so that you don't get frazzled when you're looking at a spreadsheet of numbers and saying, but it says 21 and I haven't finished 21. It says 21, and that means that when you start your 21st stitch, you do not finish it in the same colour. But we'll get into that in a couple more rows. For now, I just got to get all the way back across here and things will be fine. So like I was saying, I have made all of my mosaic crochet tiles, or intarsia crochet, the same number of stitches wide, so you can very, very easily join them to make a bag or a blanket or a skirt or a big cardi or whatever you want. They make up really nicely, and I always recommend finishing them with an extra lap of single crochet just to set your square and make sure that none of the corners are wonky. Last one. Woohoo! I just like to pull that end in so that it kind of squares away a little bit more neatly. Okay, I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Now, this is where you have a decision to make. You can treat this as the first row of your chart, or you can do one more row across. Personally, I treat this as the first row of my chart, so I should probably start counting, hey? I've worked 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches so far, 4 single crochet. My chart says 21, no, 20, let's count. 4, this is 5. Oops. 6, 7, 8, 9. Whoa, it was going to be 9, then it wasn't. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Hold on, 20. It says to do 20 of color A. So I'm going to start my stitch. There's its 2 loops, but I don't finish it. Instead, I go and get my new color, which is this awesome green. It's the same green that I used here, which is nice and lush. Okay, I'm going to fold it over the hook, giving myself a generous tail that I can work in later on. And this is seriously how easy it is. Pull your new color through. Done. Told you it was easy. Now, because this is the right side of my work that I'm looking at, I'm going to keep my tails on the wrong side. And I work my next stitch. I only get to do 1, so it's not very exciting, in my new color green. So I work into the next stitch. I'm going to work over that tail, just to lock it in there, pull up my loop of green. But because I only have 1 stitch to work in the color green, I don't finish it in green. Instead, you guessed it, I have to finish it in orange. So go behind, get your orange tail, and that loops over and becomes your next stitch. You can see that my green stitch is quite loose because there's only 1 of them. So you can just go behind and have a little pull on those tails, and they will settle down as you get further into your work and you don't have yarn loose and flopping. Now, I'm just going to pull this green tail across, and I'm going to keep it at the back of my work, and I'm going to single crochet and enclose it. And I cover this in my pattern tutorials as well. There's a few photos in there that show you how this works. So the tail is behind, and I'm enclosing it. I'm holding it at the back of my work so that it won't show through, or it only shows through a tiny bit. You don't need to do too many of those. You can always give it another work to the back when you have another right side row. I'm a little bit quirky. I only enclose my ends when I'm working on the right side. I find that if I try to wrap my ends in and work over them when I'm working on the wrong side of my work, they often don't sit properly. That may just be down to how I crochet or my tension. You may not have that problem, or you may find that, you know, the most efficient thing to do is just do what I do and only work your ends in at the back. Okay, I've got a tangle in my yarn over there, but it should come good. So now, because my pattern says I have no more green in the rest of that row, I can just single crochet across to the end of my strip. And then that will be row 1 of my chart complete. Of course, I didn't say so at the start, but you probably used your common sense and realized that the yarns you are working with would like to be the same ply. If one is significantly thicker or thinner than the other, your square is going to be really crooked. So whenever possible, aim for the same ply of yarn. And there are some great packs, like if you buy a hobby rainbow pack or something like that, obviously all the yarns are identically plied, so you'll get a really nice texture. If you're also consistent about enclosing at the back of your work, that helps to support having that consistent texture. Right. You work into your last stitch, that's 42, but obviously you leave the turning chain alone because otherwise you'll get too many stitches in your square. Chain up and turn. Now, my handy dandy little chart says that I need to work 21 across this time, then 1 green, and then 20. And that makes perfect sense because the stem of our leaf, work into the next stitch, the closest one, The stem of our leaf is a straight line, more or less. So you can use a bit of common sense here. You don't have to count too hard in these first couple of rows. Next row, we're going to have to do a bit more counting. A bit more leaf action going on. Oops. Right now I just need to get to the middle. Get to the middle. Oop. Oops, over. Oh, I split my yarn again. Rats. I must be holding my hook a little bit differently. If my thumb's not in the right spot sometimes, the hook's kind of at the wrong angle and I just managed to come up through and split my yarn. I'm not worrying about any enclosures because right now I'm working along the wrong side of my work. Now, here I am at my 21st stitch. So I'm going to work it like normal, but because my next stitch is in green, I bring my orange side through to the back of my work, and then I grab the green, wrap it over the hook, and pull it through. Now just be careful here that you get your placement right. Don't miss the next stitch. I have a nasty habit of doing that sometimes. You've got to look for that next little V and work into your green stitch. Pull up a loop of green. Bring the end towards you to the wrong side of your work. Grab the orange and finish it in the orange. There we go. And then just continue on like normal. Orange to the end of the row. I need to wake my laptop up again. It's gone to sleep because it thinks I don't love it. Oops. 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I split it, but I don't care and I'm not going back for it. You can't make me. Shh. It will get covered up in the next row. It's the best thing about single crochet. It hides a multitude of sins. As long as your tension's kind of even, you can usually pull it into shape and bully it just a little bit to sit flat. My goodness, my orange is so tangled up over there. Maybe that's why it's splitting on me. Let's fix the last stitch. Haha, done. Okay, now when I turn this and start along my next row, my chart says I have to work 20 of color A, 1 of color B, that's the stem again. Grab that last stitch that doesn't really want to cooperate. And then I have the bottom edge of the leaf, so we're going to get to do 2 green in a row. That'll be so exciting. And we'll talk about how we carry the color across. This is the wrong side. You can tell that because of the green that's peeking through in the end that's over here. And this is the right side. Our little stem working up nicely. So chain 1 and turn. And let's go. 3, 4, 5, 6. I know I'm going to the stem, so I don't really have to count. It just becomes a habit after a while. It's probably a good habit, especially if you're getting into some more complex patterns like lacy shawls or some of the hooked on sunshine blankets that are beautiful, or if you're going to have a crack at Sophie's Universe, which I always feel is like a rite of passage blanket. Some works that are just iconic, no matter what color scheme you do them in. Okay, here I am coming up on my stitch number 20. Start it in orange. Keep the orange behind because that's the wrong side. I'm looking at the right side. Bring the green through. Now I'm ready to work my lonely little green stitch. There we go. But I have to finish it in orange because the next stitch is orange. My stitch is a bit loose. That's okay. I'm just going to tension it by tugging lightly on the green and pulling it back in shape. Now, I know I've got to carry this green across for the next 9 stitches. So what I'm going to do is hold it at the back of my work and enclose it as I go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, oops, a daisy, 8, and on stitch number 9, of course, you've already worked this out, don't finish it in orange, leave the orange at the back of your work, pick up the green. Oh, my next stitch is going to be green. How amazing is that? Hold the orange at the back now and enclose that with the green. And we work 1 stitch in green, and then the second stitch we're going to finish in orange because there are only 2 green stitches marked in the chart. So, whoops, grab your orange from the back and pull it through. Tension if needed. I am going to do a little bit of enclosing. Just one. I'll just enclose it at the back once, just to keep that nice tension in the front of my work because, you know, it's still a bit new and floppy. And this will get me a better finish in the end. So I won't be lazy. 1 enclosure, and I work on to the end of the row. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just like my chart says. How satisfying is that? Awesome. All right, let me wind off some more cotton because I have this is a bit of a mess that I've got going on here. I didn't really plan very well. Sorry about that. Greenie's over there. All right, here's my chart. Check it out. Awesome. Let me start my next row. It says 11 in orange, so chain, turn, and work 11 stitches in color A. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whoops, 9 split, 9, 10, 11, here I come, 11. Now you can choose here depending on the finish you want. Sometimes when I look at the graph I'm doing, I work just through the back loop because I like the look of it better, and sometimes I work through both loops when I want a kind of spikier finish to look like that. Here, because I know that green shape is continuing up, I think I'd like to work just through the back loop. So this is just personal choice. Okay, it's not like there's one right way or wrong way of doing things. This is my 11th stitch, so it only gets half worked in orange, and then I finish it in the green. And then I have to work, ooh, 6. Really? Oh my gosh, incredible. 1. Rude. 2. 3. 4. 5. On my number 6 stitch, I pull the green to the back of my work, the wrong side. I take the orange across and finish it. I find changing colors at the back a little bit trickier, honestly. I'm not sure why, but maybe that's just me. 4 stitches in orange. 1, 2, 3. Get out of the way, thanks. Cheers. Here comes number 4. Of course, I don't finish it. I pull my orange towards me because this is the wrong side of my work. Grab the green, wherever it is. Loop it over. Keep tension if you possibly can. Oh, Splitsville. Okay, got it. That's fine. I only had to do 1 green stitch here, so I'm going to start it with the green, but I have to finish it with the orange. This swapping is a little bit fiddly at first, but I promise you it's going to get way easier. I was an absolute klutz when I began to do this. There was lots of swearing. Let's just leave it at that. Sometimes there is still swearing, but most of the time I manage to remember to change colour on the last stitch that's indicated, and I remember what the wrong side is. If you have trouble distinguishing your wrong side from your right side, do something nice for yourself, like put a stitch marker in the wrong side. So you think every time I'm looking at that little safety pin marker, that's the wrong side. I possibly once safety pinned a note to myself. I just wrote the word wrong, safety pinned it to my work, worked like a charm. So do whatever's going to work for you. There are no rules. Okay, I'm at the end. It's a miracle. Chain 1 and 10. What have I got? Exciting times. I have the start of my stem here, and I have a little bit of like a finger of one leaf happening. Where's my other one gone? Oh, I dropped it on the ground. I'm not going to get that. It's too far away. So I'll do one more row with you just so you can see a couple more colour changes. I think we get to do leaf on both sides this time. It's going to be amazing. So excited. I'm going to have to bring green all the way across over here. But that's okay. It's only a small panel, so we're not carrying colours too far. It's not too crazy. I have chained one already. I will work in. Now, I'm up to doing 9. Only 9 in colour A. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. On stitch number 9, don't finish it. Go and get your green. Ugh. This is what I don't like and what I find quite fiddly. If you pull this colour too tight, you're going to cause bunching at the back of your work. So you kind of have to have it loosely in your hand. It's like slack the back of your work, but then, you know, not slack enough that you lose your tension completely. I'm going to work 7 in this green. So I will pull on my orange to tighten that stitch that's come horribly loose and work 7 green stitches. And because I'm working on the right side, I will enclose that orange as I go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because it's the 7th, drop the green, pick up the orange, finish it in the orange. Tension the green. Okay, this is fiddly. I'm just going to warn you. 4 in the orange. Enclose the green as you go. 1, 2, 3. On the 4th one, whoops, drop it. No, on the 4th one, change out your colour for the green. Whee! Work 1 green stitch, only 1. That means we have to change out. Told you this bit was fiddly. Pull the orange up. Now 1 orange stitch. Only 1. I said only 1. So you've got to pull the green up, change it out again. Whee! And now we're up to 8 green. Oh my God, you can relax for 8 whole stitches. Enclose the orange at the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you ready? Set. 8. Don't finish it. Grab your orange, bring it in, tension with your green if you need to yank on it a little bit, and here we go. Finish off with your orange for 12 stitches. 1, nope, worked into the wrong part of the stitch. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And you have now completed that row. Hooray! And you can see that we've got a leaf with 2 little stem bits. I'll just grab my pattern so you can have a quick squeeze. That's the spreadsheet. There's the grid. And that's what the finished product looks like. So this is how you change colors. You can obviously use any grid or graph to help you with a single crochet square like this. It's not difficult at all. At the same time, I would encourage you to support people who are making patterns and tutorials, and I am one of those people. So please, if you would like this design, head over to my Etsy store, KeepCalmandCrochets. You can buy this and all kinds of other great things. And my next little video project is going to be a chat about this baby, which I will just flash. Whee! Fun times. This is Keep Calm and Crochet's Skull Shawl. So stay tuned, people. It's all happening right now. If you would like to finish off your little weedy leaf, head over to Etsy. See you there.